Welcome to another episode of the Color in Cannabis podcast. This week, we're very excited to have Sue Taylor with us, Mama Sue. And we're going to give a little bit of her backstory and get into the story of how she got into cannabis. How you doing?
I'm doing incredibly well. Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited to have you here. I know it's been a long path to you having your own dispensary, and so we're really excited to talk about that. You are the co-owner of Pharmacy Berkeley, but you had a long road to kind of get to where you are today. So what got you into cannabis?
Well, if somebody had said to me 30 years ago, I would be working in cannabis, I would say, oh, you've been smoking too much, because I never would have chosen it. Mm-hmm. It chose me. And it came to me through my son, Jamal, mm-hmm. And I call him his wife, Kiki. And they brought the idea to me. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why I said yes to working in the cannabis arena is because Jamal said to me, I know how you can have that spiritual center, with the meditation and the wellness and the acupuncture and all that. I said, how? He said, it would be funded by a cannabis dispensary. And I think back, this was over 17 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was only medical then.
Yep.
I said, cannabis dispensary? I said, you talking about that marijuana stuff? He said, yes, Ma. I'm learning it's a healing medicine, and it will be funded. You can have your spiritual component to it, mm-hmm. and it will be funded because you have to. Be a nonprofit, and you have to put the money back into it. That's how we're going to fund your project. Mm-hmm. So they caught my eye. So I was intrigued. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I'll do it. But little did I know.
It was a long journey.
So I packed, I was living in Atlanta at the time. I packed my bags up, left in about a week, came here, because I thought Jamal was on drugs. I thought he was on drugs, mm-hmm. Catholic school, college, and now he's want to sell weed? Mm-hmm. No way. So I came back home to save him. He wasn't even smoking then. He was going to school at Oaksterdam. Mm-hmm. Learning about cannabis for a business venture. And that's how I got into it. So I stayed 10 years. I left my place in Atlanta. Didn't go back for 10 years because I worked with them mm-hmm. to open up the business, to get the funding for it, to smooth with the city council, do whatever it is I needed to do. And I could do it better than Jamal and Kiki, number one, because I was a woman. Mm-hmm. I'm a little softer. Mm-hmm. Number two, I was older, mm-hmm. you see? And number three, I didn't use cannabis, yeah. So I was really the perfect person to move it forward.
Absolutely.
But they taught me, because I didn't know. I was really frightened of it. Mm-hmm. A lot. So that's how I got into it. They brought me into it.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm so glad they did.
So am I. I guess I really kind of skipped ahead. I guess for backstory, I've known you and Jamal for many, many years. Yes. I went to Catholic school with Jamal, and I remember you from when I was younger. You were a principal. I mean, you were doing a lot of other things in the world. So you were a principal of a school. Tell me a little bit about that before you even got into cannabis, what your career was like.
Yes, I was really a principal of 3 schools right here in Oakland. Mm-hmm. It was Sacred Heart, St. Patrick's, mm-hmm. and St. Columba. Mm-hmm. And St. Columba is in Berkeley on, I forgot, on Alcatraz. Yes. Yes. And so, so that was my background. Yeah. I didn't, being a principal was, I thought it was it. I thought it was my calling, mm-hmm. but it actually wasn't. This is.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And also, I remember as you guys were opening pharmacy, before it was Pharmacy Berkeley, just when you guys were trying to get the license and just trying to get things set up, I remember going to some of the Berkeley City Council meetings and just kind of speaking on your behalf, because we all knew that you guys were going to be the ideal candidate to open a club, because again, you guys weren't doing it to try to make a lot of money. You're doing it to do something positive in the community and make sure that the store represented the community and represented health and wellness first, as opposed to just profit. So we were very, very excited when you got the license, and very, very excited during the long road to opening. But between actually getting the license and opening, like, how long was it? And tell me about some of the hurdles beyond just getting the license to actually getting the doors open.
Oh, I think it was about a 3-year process, if not longer, because I said we weren't equity. We wasn't an equity family where the government or whoever, the powers that be, gave you a permit because you were black, because you were African American or person of color. We got it on our own merit, and we used our family's money. Our family loaned us money to initially open up, to get the licenses, all the things that you needed to do. Our family loaned us the money, and we were able to pay them back. So most places, but when we first got started, we had 2 other business partners that we had partnered with. One was right here in Oakland, and then I think they both were here in Oakland. And it didn't work out. The 2 of them didn't work out, and the 2 initial ones didn't work out. And then we got affiliated with Glass House. Glass House brand, Glass House Group. And so they loaned us the money to initially get the building finished and completed. And so we were able to pay them back as well.
Excellent.
And so, and that's how we really got started, was when they came in. We were able to really just finalize, because we were getting tired. Jamal, Kiki, and I, we had been just working and working and working.
I remember. It was a lot.
It was the 3 of us. I just did what they told me to do, because I didn't know. Kiki was the driving force. She would get it done. Jamal was the visionary. He said, "You need to do this. You need to do that." Kiki would do the work, and the paperwork. She'd handle all of the business part. Then I became the face, because I became the trusted face of medical cannabis. And the reason, and then with Berkeley Patients Group, I forgot my friend's name who used to work there. She said, "Oh yeah, send that Sue Taylor. She's the Mother Teresa of cannabis." So they coined me the Mother Teresa of cannabis. And you know why, Terrence? It's because I genuinely cared. I genuinely cared about people. I genuinely cared about people feeling good. And I know our Creator didn't want people being sick and not being happy and not being well. And so it doesn't matter to me who you are. I just want you to know who you are and feel good about who you are and do the things that it takes to know yourself enough to know those things to make you feel the way you were created to be. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I know when you guys were looking at different partners, I know a lot of folks who, once they get the licenses, that a lot of big companies kind of pop up out of the blue. How did you choose Glass House over other companies that were around?
They were more aligned with our core values. They give back.
Yes.
They have sustainability, how they grow. We help people get out of prison. They would help people getting out of prison. I remember the CEO came to me and he said, "Sue, we got to do something about all these people who are incarcerated, especially people of color." This is a white man, ex-cop. He said, "We have to do something. We're making money from this. We got to give back. We got to get them out, And so I said, yes. So it's things like that. We also do free education about cannabis. We give to veterans. We give to people who can't afford it. And we educate for free. And we hire people. that has been incarcerated. They can't sell weed, but they could grow or they could clip.
Yeah.
You know, or they could have products in our stores.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
They had a vision, and they had the money.
Yeah, and money's critical. Money's critical. I know that,
And they sought me out.
Excellent. Okay.
They sought me out, and at first they only wanted me. They didn't want the store. Jamal said, "No, it's the whole package."
Nice. That's good that you guys did that. I know with some folks, Glass House is such a big company, and the fact that an ex-cop runs it, I know some folks have feelings about that, but I know that as long as you've been with them, they've been doing a tremendous amount in the community for the community, and so I think that's good, done a lot to help change the perception of who they are as a company, and I think that you've been be really instrumental in that. I know in addition to you guys having the store, you have your product line, the Mama Sue product line, and I've seen you do a lot online, like traveling around, speaking and educating folks. You want to talk about a little bit of the products that you have under Mama Sue?
Yes, I started out with 3 products.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, my love and my special heart are for seniors. Mm-hmm. So I developed, seniors usually only come to cannabis for 2 reasons. They're in pain or they can't sleep,
mm-hmm.
or both.
Yes.
And so I did a sleep tincture. And all of my products to date, except one that I'm launching, I'm going to tell you that about, are tinctures under the tongue. Mm-hmm. And tinctures are just drops. They come in a dropper, and you just put like 15 drops under the tongue and hold it there for 15 seconds. And the effects are immediate. And it helps you sleep and relax. And my sleep product has high CBD and CBN. And CBN is the cannabinoid that helps you stay asleep. And then the other product is for anxiety and pain. And that one is high CBD as well. And it helps to relax the body and helps, if you get anxious, it's a good thing to take. You can take it during the day. And then my latest product hasn't been a year yet, or maybe a little over a year, is Everyday Wellness. Now that's the bomb. It's 15-to-1, and all of my products are full spectrum. But Everyday Wellness is 15-to-1. It has high CBD, high CBG, and high CBC.
Okay.
And so it enhances what the CBD does as far as getting rid of the inflammation in your body. And you could use it every day. The CEO's wife, her name is Diane Kazan. She's a social worker. You know, she's in the medical field. She had a knee replacement. They wanted a knee replacement, right? They wanted to give her a bag full of pharmaceutical drugs for the pain. I mean, a bag full.
I bet.
She said no. She only did the Everyday Wellness. That's all she did. They said, you're not going to make it. She was just fine off of that Everyday Wellness. And so I'm telling you, it's the bomb. I use it every day. And at night, if I wake up and I don't want to take a gummy for sleep, if I wake, I'll do drops under the tongue because it's quick acting.
Yes.
And it helps with the inflammation and pain in the body. And then I have this new balm that I just tried it last week. The consistency is smooth. You put it on, and the pain just makes your knees and your back feel so good. And I've been waiting for a balm or a rub because most seniors do not like to smoke.
Yes.
You know, I'm not a smoker. But I do use the creams and the tinctures and the gummies if I need to. I use it like supplements,
Yes.
if that makes sense. And so you have to take your supplements on a regular basis in order for it to work over time. It's the same with the tinctures and the cannabis. You have to give your body a chance to get acclimated to the products and let it do its job. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So it's, I never could have created all of this, if I had gone with anybody else.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And it's all about health and wellness and people being who they were created to be. And cannabis helps with that.
Absolutely.
And so I help to eliminate the stigma that surrounds it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the perfect messenger because I care.
Yes.
I don't have to know them. I just care.
I think it's really important the what you're doing with the product line, because I know with my mom, which you knew from when we were kids, she was very, very against cannabis, or me being involved in cannabis. And even when I was involved in legal cannabis, she was made her very uncomfortable. But quietly, one by one, all of her closest friends started reaching out to me to help with things for sleep, help with their knee pain, help with their back pain. And we would do these almost like little Tupperware parties where I'd go over to one of her friends' houses and I'd bring all these goodies for her whole circle of friends, and she wasn't there. And it got to the point where they're all like, when are we going to tell your mom? I'm like, not anytime soon. She's going to blow up. But when she did find out, and all of her friends were like, he's not getting us high, he's getting us well. This is about wellness. This is about pain relief. This is about living without pills. And it was really her experience through her friends talking about what I was doing that changed her opinion about what I was doing in cannabis. And so I think these product lines, specifically the ones that focus on seniors, are great for families where if your family is against being in cannabis or having anything to do with cannabis, introducing them to the idea that you can have wellness, you can have pain relief without pills. This is a safe kind of a gateway into the cannabis world, and it kind of opens up people's ideas about maybe all of this is safe and welcoming. So I think what you're doing is critical for so many families being able to embrace cannabis and getting involved in it. So I think it's really important what you're doing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And also I know in addition to the Mama Sue product line, you've been doing a lot of education. You've been traveling around. I see you online doing a lot of that. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. I've I go to many senior events, and I educate them about cannabis because they're interested in it. But do you know last year, 3 million seniors started using cannabis for the first time?
Wow.
3 million.
That's a lot.
And it keeps increasing. But let me tell you why there's a big spark in the senior community with cannabis. Seniors are on 15 to 20 to 30 pills to manage their health, not cure it, to manage it. And those pills, oftentimes, the side effects of them causes more harm than the disease they went to the doctor to get the pill for in the first place. It's a chain reaction. The heart pill hurts your liver. The liver pill hurts your lungs. And the beat goes on. And you end up with a bag of pills getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And you know what it's doing? It's robbing every young person of the wisdom of their mamas, their grandparents, their aunties, and their uncles, because those pharmaceuticals rob them of their brain, rob them of their thinking capacity, and rob them of their purpose for living. So the cannabis plays a big part. Now, it's not the all in all, because you have to do other things too. You know, with the cannabis, you got to be mindful of your eating, exercise, all of that, and choose alternative medicines. Like I'm not on any pharmaceutical drugs at all. I do acupuncture. I do chiropractic work. I do cold plunges.
That's serious.
I do cold plunges. I was just talking to my son Blake about me plunging in the ocean. And because you know why? It helps the bones and the body, because I also exercise. And it's just been, for seniors, they deserve it, and they want to feel better. They want to feel better, they're tired. So they're looking for alternative medicines. And now their doctors are saying, maybe you should try cannabis. And it used to be when we first got started in the business, we would get, the doctors would say, because doctors care about their patients. So if they can't help them anymore, they said, maybe you should try cannabis, but don't tell them I told you so. Try cannabis. You know, because if they ask you if I told you that, I'm going to say no, because I could lose my license. But now it's different. Now the doctors are recommending cannabis. So more and more seniors are trusting it. And plus, when they hear me talk, I'm the trusted face for them. I'm their spokesperson. I want to be, because this is how I'll be 78 this year. And this is how 78 is supposed to look and feel and be. Still creating, still traveling and having fun in life, you know, those kinds of things. And so cannabis is a medicine.
Yes.
It's a medicine. And so I help to eliminate that stigma. I take the fight out of it. You know, does that make sense?
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I love that. I love that. What, I know that there's a lot of folks around the country who are thinking about getting into the cannabis space, particularly folks of color. What are some of the lessons that you've learned? Because I know that it was such a long road between getting the license, opening, and then just being successful as a business. What are some of the things that you've learned that you'd pass on to people who are trying to follow in your footsteps to either open their own dispensary or get involved in the cannabis industry?
Well, it's a lot. It took us a long time. Even everybody who was supporting us said, we didn't think you guys were going to ever get this done. I said, neither did we. And I said, and one of the reasons why we partnered up with another company, because Jamal, Kiki, and I, we were really tired. We had been working behind the scenes, and we had to do some incredible things as Black people in this industry to even get in the city council. I'll give you an example. We wanted the license in Berkeley, right? So all these rich, quote unquote, white boys, now think back, 17 years ago, it was only medical. It wasn't legal. So when they would sell cannabis illegally, they put the money under the mattress, under the sofa. So they had bags and bags of money to pay for the lobbyists to go and talk to the mayor, for the lobbyists to talk to each one of the city council members to say, I want to be considered for the permit. See, getting your foot in the door. Well, they was paying like $80,000. We didn't have that kind of money to pay that. $50,000 for the lobbyists to go in and talk to these people. So, guess who went? Me.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So I tell Jamal, okay, just tell me what I need to do. I said, tell me the objective and who I'm talking with, and I'll get it done. And so I called the city council office. And I said, hello, I would like a meeting with Councilman Gregory. They said, oh, okay, well, what is it that you wanted to speak with him about? Well, I was a commissioner on aging, and I'm a former Catholic school principal, right? So I said, I would like to talk to him about senior issues. You know, I'm a commissioner, you know, on aging for the community. And I would like to talk, and I also would like to talk to them about some other things as well. So they said, oh, okay. So one by one, I get on the calendar. They take me in. And so even when I went to see the mayor, what do you want to talk to the mayor about? I said, senior issues. I'm a commissioner on aging. I used my credibility that I had already had as a professional, you see, to get in the door. Yes. You got to figure out, as a person of color, how to get in the door. Yeah. If I'd have told them, if I'd have said, I'm doing cannabis, they would have, no. But I used my clout of what I had already earned to get my, and once I got in the door, you know, I tell them, I say, yes, I'm a commissioner on aging, I do this, and Councilman, Superintendent, I forgot his name, God. He put me on this council and asked me to do the commission on aging. And I said, and I'm enjoying that. And then I tell them, I said, I'm a Catholic school principal. I educate kids and teachers in that. Then they listen to that. Then after I had won their hearts, I say, but I'm here today because I'm after the cannabis permit. They were, oh, really? And I said, yes. But I'd already won their hearts. Yeah. So they heard me out. And so I did that to every last one of them. And that resulted in a unanimous decision to give us that fourth Berkeley cannabis permit.
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge. And I think it's really well deserved. As someone who's gone and talked to city council a lot, they have a lot of people showing up with money. And money's good for them. They let campaign funds and all that kind of stuff. But they get tired of seeing the same looking faces coming up with bags of cash, just trying to make more cash. And so I think it was really awesome for them to be able to see someone like you coming from the community that has a history in education, that works with seniors, coming from a place of just wellness and health and trying to do something. Because I know back then they wanted that, because when medical cannabis, we talked about medical a lot. So I know that the cities were enamored by that. I mean, they like the tax money, but they also like the idea that this is good for the community. And so to see someone who's trying to start it coming from that position, I'm sure was really good for them and helped them kind of feel more safe and reassured with you guys.
I think you're absolutely right, because I could remember we had like an open forum where people could come in and talk about whether they wanted it or whether they didn't want it. And all the people who were coming for the permit spoke, myself included. And then after we were all done, actually it was our lawyer that got up at the end. And he looked at all of the people who were going for the permit. He said, now, out of all of these people who are going for this permit, which one of these people you think will best represent Berkeley? And he pointed at me.
Well, it's true. It's true. I mean, as someone who went to a lot of those meetings, there were a lot of cool people that showed up, a lot of business owners, people that had cannabis licenses in other spaces, or people that were in the industry. And they're all cool people, but they didn't clearly represent the community. You had spent so many years working in the community in a different capacity. I mean, educating people's kids, that really establishes a lot of trust. And so going from working with the kids and then working with seniors, like, the people really knew where you are, what your values were. They knew you weren't just saying it. It's something that you've lived for many, many years. And so I think that's really important as people are trying to get in the cannabis space, of thinking about what you bring to it naturally, not just like what you want to do when you're there, but what do you offer to the community? Are you from the community? And the importance for city councils of picking people from the community, because they're always going to make choices that are best for the community. I think that's really instructive for people on both sides of the fence.
I think you're absolutely right, because as you know, you guys went to school in Berkeley.
Yeah.
So we were of the city. We were of, the community. St. Mary's, that's where you guys went to school. So we educated, and your mom and I, we were all participating parents.
Yeah.
We just didn't send them to school and left. We were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then seniors, I joined the Commission on Aging for Seniors in Berkeley. I joined that group and heard their issues and things of that nature. But you know what, Taryn, I was frightened, especially when I first got into this space, and I would go to the city council meetings, and because you have to be visible, right?
Yes.
So I would go, and I could remember this one time I had gone, and it was a lot of people in it, and at the city council meeting. They go to like midnight, 11, 12,
Forever,
midnight.
yeah.
And so they had a break, and then there was this guy, this one black guy, almost looking like TK. He had long dreads, but he has a whole bunch. He didn't look as groomed as TK. He was all the way, he was like a Rastafarian, like that. And so he said, hey, you, the weed lady. I said, no, I'm not the weed lady. No. Jamal said, Ma, I'm sorry, Ma, you're the weed lady. I said, I don't want to be the weed lady. He said, but you are, Mom.
Yeah. You earned it. Yeah.
Well, I've gotten comfortable with it over the years, but yeah, it's been a journey, but I don't regret any of it, because it made me the person that I am today.
Yes.
And I'm more involved in it, and I've learned more about what the cannabis can do. I began to trust it more, and realize that even though people think they're using it recreationally, I ask them, because I could remember one of our people who we were going to partner up with, he had said, yeah, cannabis. I said, how do you use cannabis? He said, I use it. He said, when I get off from work, he said, if I'd had a bad day, he said, I'd be angry and pissed. He said, and if I went into the house straight like that, I'd yell at my wife and yell at my kids. But he said, instead, I go in the garage, I take a couple of hits. He said, and I come back and I'm relaxed. I said, well, that's like taking a Valium. This is a much healthier way to deal with stress and anxiety.
Absolutely.
You see? And then there was another incident early on. We was working in San Jose. Jamal Kiki and I was doing some work there, and there was a woman there that dealt with cannabis. And she said her mama developed cancer. And so she said she had cannabis pills that she would give to her mother. And so she said she told her mom's doctor, she said, "Doctor, you guys do whatever you need to do with my mom, but I want you guys to be aware I'm going to give her 2 of these cannabis tablets twice a day, high CBD cannabis tablets." And so she said about 3 months later, her mother's doctor called her and said, "What were those pills you gave your mother?" And she said they were cannabis CBD pills. She said, "Your mother's cancer-free. It's because of those pills. It's nothing we've done." Now, that was huge.
Yes, for a doctor to admit that,
for
absolutely.
He admitted it. But see, these doctors, they care about their patients.
They do.
And so when I told my doctor, who was across the street from Pharmacy Berkeley, where our shop was, I said, "I've developed asthma." And so she says, "Okay, you need to pump, you need all this." I said, "No, I don't want to manage it. I want to cure it." She says, "No." She said, I can't do that." She said, "Do you know I was only taught the pharmaceutical approach as a doctor? I was only taught how to deal with sickness by using pharmaceutical drugs." She said, "Do you know how long it would take for me to do the research to help you find all that?" I said, "Okay, bye."
Handle it myself. No, that's beautiful.
And I have been taking charge of my own health.
How is your asthma now?
I don't have it anymore.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. There's so many amazing medical stories that have come out of people experiencing cannabis. It's really beautiful. I know a lot of the brands themselves, legally, they can't say that it fixes all these different things, but just anecdotally, folks who work in dispensary, anyone who is a bud tender who works in the dispensary space will know they have stories that they tell of patients coming in and of witnessing people's ailments lessen over time through regular use of cannabis. And again, it's not something any of the brands can promote. They can't promise it's going to do that. But as folks who work in the space, we've seen it just many, many times over again. And it's not perfect. It doesn't do everything for everyone, but so many people have had such good results from it. It's really remarkable.
A lot of people. Jamal doesn't have asthma anymore, I hear. And I think it's probably from the cannabis.
Yeah.
But people want to, and you know what? Everybody is different. So for some people it might work, other people it might not. It's kind of trial and error, to be honest.
I really love the part of the story of you working with your son and his wife about this really being a family affair. I remember you guys going to the meetings, just so immersed in the process of opening the club, but you did it as a family, so you could really lean on one another. I think that's really important. I think a lot of people might try to go down this road alone, and it's just a long, hard road trying to open a dispensary or doing anything in cannabis. So the importance of having your family involved is something that's really key. And for people that can do that, I think it really helps a lot. So I really love that part of your guys' story of being able to work together to build this thing that you guys built. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
What are some of, like we talked about some of the positive or things that we're talking about what you want people to know in terms of getting into the industry. What are some of the lessons you've learned for people what they should not do? Getting into the space, finding the right partner, opening a dispensary, just whatever you've seen in the space. What do you like? Don't do that. That's not the road to go down.
The number one rule or message I would like to send to anybody who's trying to get into the industry is that if you thinking about coming into the industry because you think you're going to get rich, it won't happen. It's you have to care.
Yeah.
Most people in the industry, if you don't care, because let me tell you this, if you're going in it for the money, when obstacles and challenges happen, and they will, trust me, people stole our money. They did everything because you couldn't go to the police because back then it was it wasn't legal. And so when you are going for the permit or to work in the cannabis industry, if you don't have the love for it, when things get hard, you'll be out of there.
Yeah.
All your money and your time and your efforts down the drain. But if you're truly passionate about it, know what good it does. Know that's why you came on this earth, was to do something in the cannabis industry or something to help people. And see, it is my firm belief that before we were born, when we were still in the ethers, when we made the decision to come on the earth, to be born, we knew we could help the earth at this time. That's why we chose to come. You see? We chose to come because we knew we could make a difference in the world, whatever that gift is. And we all have different gifts, you know, in the cannabis industry.
Absolutely.
And then for me, I know it's perfect for me because my life didn't begin until I was in my 50s. My 60s was awesome, and my 70s is off the chain.
That's awesome.
And I can relate to the seniors. Do you know the seniors are the largest demographic? If you look at the 2019-2020 United States Census, at the rate of 10,000 a day, people turn 65. Okay? They turn 65. That will go on, I think, now for the next 3 or 4 years. For the first time in the history of the country, we're the largest. That being said, if anybody is thinking about coming into the cannabis industry, develop something that will help seniors in it.
Yes.
It'll make you some money. It'll be profitable because seniors are sick. You know, we are taught, how we depict it on TV. When you turn 50, oh, hell, I've fallen. You know, you're destitute. Who wants to get old?
Yeah.
If that's what you all have to look for. You can't do that. That's not how our Creator wanted us to be. You see? So we do something to help that demographic.
Absolutely.
You know, because we're missing it. We're missing the wisdom of, we're wisdom keepers. Your grandma, your aunties, your uncles, wisdom keepers. But they can't do it with a sick body. They can't do it with a fogged up mind. So we play a big part because we bring health and wellness and we help to eliminate the stigma. And now the medical field is getting on board with it. You see? And so it'll become legal at some point when they figure out how to stop us from making some money, or when they could, or when they figure out the pharmaceutical approach is killing us, and they have to stop feeding the pharmaceuticals company and get people healthy and mindful and strong in their mind and be the wisdom keepers that they are.
Yes, absolutely. You coming into cannabis, given your previous career, was a big shift. Going from educating into something that for a lot of people still had a kind of it sounded illicit to a lot of people, and so I know that was a big transition for you. What I love to ask people on this podcast is, who in their past kind of inspired what they were doing? So was there someone in your family when you were younger that inspired you to be able to be that much of a trailblazer, to kind of just change or pivot your path, or who, when you looked to when you're younger, inspires you to kind of do what you're doing?
No. I had an auntie. Her name was Hazel. She was a school teacher, and I kind of admired her. So that might have been it. Yeah. But for people who wanting to get in the cannabis industry, this is what I did, and it's related to your question. I was an educator, right? I was a Catholic school principal. I was a kindergarten teacher. You know, I was a teacher and the principal. Well, what I did was, I'm still an educator. I just changed my demographic. You see? So, and I have friends. A lawyer. He's a lawyer, and his wife is a physician. Well, they transitioned into cannabis. They just did it in the cannabis sector. So you're doing what, you don't reinvent the wheel. You're doing what you're already doing. It's like if you're a good cook. Yeah. Make some dishes with cannabis. Yeah. Use your talents that God gave you, that your Creator gave you, to do that. You see? Don't reinvent the wheel. Start from what you know. Yes. Start from what you care about. Bring love into whatever you're doing. Absolutely. If there's no love, there's no money. Yeah. Does that make sense? Absolutely. It's great advice regardless of what career you're looking at. Just come from love. Start with love. Start with love. Yeah. Start with love.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So what's on the horizon? I know you continue to educate. You continue to have new products coming out. Do you have anything else you're working on in the near future?
Yes, I do. Of why I started in this cannabis industry in the first place, to have my Because We Care Wellness Center by Sue Taylor. Because we care, because I care. People say, why you do this? Why? Because I care. So I want a facility that deal with holistic medicine and wellness. And I'm going to have it.
Excellent.
And so I'm building up the curriculum now to see how and what, and it's all new to me. But that's all I have to do is come up with the idea. The universe is going to put it right before me. It's going to give me all the money, all the resources, everything that I'm going to need to build this wonderful vision that I've had and held, because it got me in the cannabis industry, because I couldn't even do it then because once it became legal, it all changed.
Yeah.
But the vision is still there, and I'm still empowering people. But you know what I do mostly that I'm very proud of? I changed the mindset about aging. People will not change unless you change their mindset.
Yes.
It begins with how they view themselves, how they view aging. If you think, because I've been told so many times, do you realize how old you are? And you plunging, you're going to catch pneumonia. You're going to, oh gosh. They tell me that. Are you doing this? You went to Europe last year? Alone? Oh my gosh. You know how old you are? I said, well, you keep reminding me. So I'm trying to forget, But see, it's not that. It's about your mindset.
Yes.
If you think old, you will be old. If you think you're smart, you will be smart. If you think you can't, you won't.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. You got to believe in universal laws and principles and pay attention to them. You got to see beyond appearances.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to see. If you don't see beyond, and meditate, you better meditate, because that's how you see beyond appearances. You get to know who you are and who you came here to be, and you'll be driven. You see, I'm driven.
Yes, you are.
From within, though. From within. Nothing outside of me. From within in my creator.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I can't get it wrong, and I'll never get it all done. And that's for everybody. Just do the best you can.
No, that's beautiful wisdom. That's beautiful wisdom. Thank you. Another question I tend to try to ask in these podcasts that I've yet to be able to frame the right way is, what from your cultural heritage has given you additional strength in cannabis? So what about growing up black or growing up black in the black community did you bring into cannabis that you feel makes you a little bit stronger or more adept to what's going on in the space?
Yes. That's a great question, actually. Well, for one, it's one of the reasons, being a person of color is one of the reasons why I'm so successful. Because being a person of color, you done been through a lot of shit. And so you have to figure shit out.
Yes.
And I call shit like challenges, right?
Yes.
And so we had to do that a lot in order to make it, in order to survive. We had to know how to reinvent ourselves. Like for me going for the mayor, I want to talk about this and not hitting the real issue until later on. You learn that.
Yes.
When I was a young girl, my mama knocking on these white people's doors, asking if they can clean their house, on how to do it, how she handled that, when they were rude and when they were mean, how she did it. So being a person of color, you learn those kinds of things to survive.
Yes.
So cannabis works the same way. You have to figure it out. How can I survive in this industry? What could I bring? What could I give what could I share in this industry that's a part of me? You see?
Yes.
But being a person of color, it helps you with that. And being a woman, too, because we really got to make things work.
Yes.
While the husbands was out working, we had to figure stuff out. You see, as a woman, we learn, okay, stuff go wrong, then we got to fix this. We could do multitask. We do 3 things at once. So being a woman of color, and this is Women's Month, go girls.
Yes.
Because we can get it done.
Absolutely.
Because we have so many jobs that we have to do. My mom used to say, a man works from sun up to sundown, but a woman's work is never done.
True. Yeah.
So, because we're always doing something.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we built.
Absolutely.
Hey, we built to last.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And not only just to last, I'm thriving.
Exactly.
I'm thriving.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yes.
Happy with me.
I love that. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for coming to visit us.
I have one more word of wisdom.
Please.
Look, if you want to be successful, you have to work harder on yourself than you're doing your job.
Yes.
And if what you're seeking out in your new adventure, if you're trying to create something, if it doesn't scare you, your dream is not big enough.
Yes.
Go for the big.
Yes.
Go for the big.
Yes.
It's nothing, don't go for mediocrity.
Yes.
We're not built for that. You soar.
Yes.
You fly, and nothing can stop you. But you just got to know it. I've gone from belief to trusting to faith to knowing. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate the
having me.
wisdom and just great seeing you again. I used to see you all the time. Now you're down in LA. I don't see you as much. I got to come down and visit you at the ocean. Maybe I'll have the courage for a cold plunge with you. But thank you so much for coming. This was amazing. I'm so proud of everything you've done. So proud to know you. I've known you throughout my life, so it's just been an honor to know you all these years. But I'm just so excited what you've done, and I'm so excited for the path that you're paving for so many other folks who want to be in this space, particularly because our senior community is so rich in just knowledge and wisdom and strength that we need more of our seniors involved in all of this. And I feel like you're just such a great proponent of that, of letting people know that your life continues. You can do amazing things. Things are better. Like you and my mom are so similar in that, in the idea that like life has just gotten better. 40, 50, 60, 70, it's improving. It's not declining. It's improving.
Exactly.
And just pushing that message that your life isn't ending. It's just transitioning to something else that's beautiful.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. You keep creating yourself.
Indeed.
Do something different. I'm always doing something different.
I love it.
Do something different. You got to challenge your brain.
Yes.
You really do. If you keep doing the same thing all the time, you'll get dementia.
Yeah.
That's how people get dementia. Mm-hmm. They cook the same foods. They drive to the store the same way. Mm-hmm. They watch the same TV shows. All of that. No, you got to challenge your brain. You got to let your brain know. You got to lead with your heart.
Yes.
Just lead with your heart.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was wonderful having you.
Thank you.
So
exciting stuff.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So this was Color in Cannabis. This was Sue Taylor, Mama Sue. We're so honored to have her here, listen to her wisdom and her story. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks everyone for watching, for listening, and look forward to talking to you guys soon.
Thank you.